All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go with game number 1 between Morrow and Jinro. This is going to be awesome match. We're going to be starting off on dual site. Of course, both these players looking for blood.
Absolutely. Like, you know, Team Liquid Jinro versus Mal's Morrow. Two fabulous teams, but also two awesome players. Great match we're going to see here on dual site. Which, go ahead and tell people a little bit about dual site.
It's a good map.
It's a good map?
That's all I got.
That's all you got?
I don't know anything about anything. But I know you like dual site quite a bit. Now we do have Morrow starting over here as the blue Zerg. And, of course, in the 3 o'clock position, we have as the yellow Terran, Liquid Jinro. A little bit about this map. I guess I will talk about it right now, LZ Gamer. It really sets a narrative of going to base as Terran and trying to get that third base. So, as Zerg, so a lot of times we see this really on-edge system where Terran is just pushing and pushing their opponents, whereas Zerg has to be a little bit more passive, and they're trying to get those really money units, such as it might be anywhere from mass mutas to just a huge amount of Zergling banelings to just infestors, whatever it might be.
Right. Also, something that Zergs like to do on this map is put the threat of a counter attack.
Yes.
Every time Terran leaves his base, they love to put that threat that, oh, maybe I'm really going to counterattack this time, when really it's all just mostly fakes, where they're just using it to make stall, really, where Terran has to pull back to defend this attack that's actually never coming.
Now, the style I really like, which you talk about over and over again, not only in, you know, when you're casting these matches, but also when you're actually talking to me about strategy, you like the Roach Zergling Baneling style opening up for TVZ. Am I correct?
Close.
Oh, Roach Zergling. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like the Roach Zergling into Infestor style.
Yes, that's right.
Big fan of that style. And then you can pretty much go anything you want after that. But that is my more favorite opening. And I think it would even be good here. We do see from Jinro, though, he is going 1 Rax gas, so no 2 Rax pressure from him. The question is, are we going to see Hellions? Maybe a Reaper opening? What do you think?
I would say Hellions most probably. We can see the natural is pretty open, so you can get Hellions over from this side, really threaten going up this ramp. And what that does is brings units over here, so you have room to go ahead and snipe drones, things like that. A lot of different tactics you do. And this is what I love so much about Morrow. He's going ahead, and he's one of the only ones that actually makes a drone scouts and sees if there is something like a 2 Rax coming or not. And then he's able to prepare if he needs be.
Yeah, I think it's always safe, especially in any kind of important match, that you always know what your opponent's doing. You always sacrifice that little bit of economy to get that scout in there and know what your opponent's up to, you know? Even if you just get in there with the drone and you see that he has 1 gas taken, that tells you so much. It's like, okay, I don't have to worry about a 2 Rax pressure. He's not 1 Rax commit, you know, going a 1 Rax CC. So it allows you to, you know, prepare for other tech paths like Hellions or Banshee.
Yeah, most definitely. We'll see that there is one single Marine coming over here, and it will kind of pressure on. Look at this bunker going down in a really nice place. Oh no, the SCV actually got surrounded. Now finally the Marine's going to come here. It will get chased off. Is there going to be enough time? I don't think so. This is very weak pressure, but the second Marine is in here. And can Jinro get a drone kill? That will be a huge win. Oh, very nice. 2 drones are able to pick off this 1 SCV. That's a nice win for him.
Yeah, these 2 Marines are trying to do a lot of work down here, but the drones are being pulled off, and I think they're going to surround him. No, he misses the surround, but he is pulling back the weakened drone.
My God.
So great control from Morrow, to where this 1 drone is actually going to hunt down this Marine.
And he got it. 2 Marine kills. Now, there was indirect damage done that entire time. Those drones not mining, but I definitely think killing those initial 2 Marines was pretty cool, although they don't really have much purpose. I don't think it's like it was essential in defending against any incoming pushes, but it's just that little like, hey, gotcha, and it might get in Jinro's head right now.
Yeah, I mean, those little things can make all the difference, especially if he's ever planning on doing maybe, like we see, that's exactly what I was thinking. He's actually going to swap the Rax and the factory, and it's going to be that build that we saw at MLG Anaheim a lot, that all the Koreans were using, where they're going to get Blue Flame right off the bat, which we see Blue Flame just starting, and he's also going to produce Hellions, and I'm expecting a Starport to start pretty soon, to where he's probably going to try to elevate, like maybe a Marine Hellion
Yeah, that's the best part about this build. A lot of times you're faced with a lot of Hellions in this beginning stage, and then not a lot of those power-hitting units like the Marines that are able to break down stuff or really do a lot of DPS to non-light units. Well, now he's going to have a very healthy amount of Marines to really deal with, or excuse me, to actually utilize, and he can go do that pressure. As you said, it could be anywhere from that elevating technique to, you know, something just like a all-in pressure.
Yeah. Exactly. And see, this is when maybe those 2 Marines actually did make a difference. That means his attack's going to have 2 less Marines in it. You know, so that's when you can take note that every little thing actually matters in the game of StarCraft.
Yes. I definitely agree. I would love to actually see those 2 Marines actually making all the difference. Imagine if we actually saw that. Nevertheless, a macro hatchery is going down. This is more of the common style of this day and age. Koreans have really popularized this style just because getting that extra hatchery allows you to drone up and at the same time stay defensive against any form of early game pressure. We see so many times this Marine Hellion pressure that comes in every single Terran versus Zerg in, you know, the Korean high leagues. And, you know, you don't have enough larvae to commit to drones and Zerglings to defend against this. So that's why we see this style, getting the fast hatchery and being able to just pump out so much larva, give you that agency and the options to do whatever you want.
Exactly. We do have the first medevac on its way, and it might be headed towards... They might load up these Marines and head towards Morrow's base here. I love the hatch, too, and I must say my favorite part about the hatch, it helps defend. It helps wall in the Zerg to where this spine crawler is actually in range of anything trying to run by, to where it wouldn't be normally. But this these Marines do look like they're going to pick off this Overlord, so that's a small victory for Jinro.
Yep, a very small one. Look at that. Spine crawler actually going all the way up top, defending, I guess, against just the Baneling nest and the spawning pool. And it does look like that elevating technique might just in fact happen. Blue Flame Hellion is up. That's very important to notice. So, you know, these Zerglings are not going to be able to do that much damage. And look at that. The Spine Crawler is actually defending against some sort of elevating technique. Really, really beautiful play coming out from Morrow.
Yeah, I like what these other Hellions are doing as well. Looks like they might try to sneak around the back. Here they go in the natural expansion, but he pulls back before the Zerglings get a surround off. Morrow being really aware with his Zerglings. And actually, Jinro not paying attention, trying to kill a Queen. Big blunder there. Loses 3 Hellions, kills nothing.
And off of that, look at that hatchery goes down instantaneously. Was Jinro able to see that? No, he was not. So it really helps out Morrow. He doesn't know about this hatchery timing, so he has no reason to defend against it. Or, excuse me, push on it.
Didn't really pay attention, but I think about 5 drones died in Morrow's main there to a little drop harass. He did save those units as well, so good play by Jinro.
Looks like he might be going in for round number 2. There is that Spine Crawler there again. Banelings and Zerglings are just chilling out around the right-hand side, or the left-hand side. And we do see Hellions again coming over to this third. Is there going to be anything to defend this? We do see that there's not creep down there just yet, so he doesn't want to commit ASAP. Meanwhile, the group of Marines and Hellions are on the top left-hand corner. They're just chilling out. They're not doing anything just yet, but Morrow doesn't want to commit to that just yet. He will lose anything that goes down there. He's just going to take the hatchery damage for now. Realize that he can rely on his Beetles popping out right now to just scat these, or make these Hellions scram.
Yeah. Funny enough, I guess Jinro's spider sense went off, and he actually ran the Hellions before even seeing the Mutas. He must have knew they were coming.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know how he actually did that, but here we go. The Hellions are going to be under attack. Nope, they aren't. Mutas are going to just run up there. Where are they going to go to? I'm not sure completely. You know, a lot of times when these Mutas are out, just the threat of them attacking you is enough to keep your opponent in their base. So Morrow doesn't even need to do direct damage to that hatchery, or excuse me, to that main. All he has to do is go ahead and take his third. And this is like a minute or 2 minutes, maybe even 3 minutes if he can get out there, where his opponent cannot push out at all.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like Jinro is trying to build up a nice Marine force. He does have Hellions still, but there's no tanks or anything on the way.
Yeah.
So he is going to literally have to rely solely on micro to deal with these Banelings, and, you know, that's always risky in my opinion.
Yeah, Jinro is definitely gearing up for this just straight up Marine Hellion type of timing that we have here. Just now the third has been taken, the fourth gas has not. And that just means, okay, I'm not going to be utilizing a lot of gas. That means all my SCVs are going towards minerals. It makes it very, very efficient for me. If I'm getting something like Marines, you can get a lot more out than normal. But is it going to be enough? Is that the army composition that really deals with all of the units that Morrow has? I'm not sure. I don't know if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I am not so sure. It's going to be tough, but you know, if anyone can pull this kind of play off, it is Jinro.
Yep, we do see another drop coming back here in the top middle position. It looks like it runs straight by a Zergling. Is Morrow going to react? Yes, of course he is. He sees that blue little dot, but in the meantime, a group of Hellions are coming out here, along with a lot of Marines. Looks like Jinro did scan just to check for any Banelings, make sure that he's not being Baneling bombed at the same time. But this is going to be a multi-pronged harass, and it looks like these mutas, they're going to run right past this medevac. Finally, they find it, and they're going to have to unload the cargo. It's not looking good for Jinro.
Yeah, this isn't looking good at all. We do see, you know, it's a decent-sized Marine force over here, but that's a lot of Banelings.
Yes, it is. And Centrifugal Hooks is up. He needs a lot more Hellions than this, though. I mean, this is not enough to kill all of those Zerglings in one shot. You need a lot more, maybe 12 or something like that, so that all the Banelings, or excuse me, all the Marines can just kill every single one of these Banelings. Now finally the mutas come on over here. Are they going to come all the way over? This could be a disaster for those mutas, because here's the stim. Oh my god, wastes a lot of health, only killing one mutalist. That is so, so bad. Now finally the Marines know they have to back up all the way so they don't be initiated on. And look at that. Morrow's just going to wait until that stim wears off. It does deal a lot of direct damage, actually, from doing that. And here we go. The attack's coming in. Are the Banelings going to crash in onto the main units? Where are the Marines? Probably not. Looks like the Marines are doing a good job, but now they have to back up. This is so bad. Morrow is aggressing onto this entire Marine force. It looks like they're going all the way into the natural. Banelings are able to connect all the way over to these Marines. Is it going to be enough? Jinro is actually popping out of that bunker and going to chase down those mutas. I don't know if that was the most cost-efficient army, though, for both of those players. It's hard to really say who won in that. I feel like Jinro did lose a lot of Marines, but they're just Marines. They don't cost that much. They're only 50 minerals. So the reload, is it going to be there? I'm going to say Morrow, yeah, he has a lot of freaking units still.
Yeah, and I mean, Morrow definitely got the better end of that deal because he already had a third. So that's what they were battling for. They were battling for ground, and Morrow defeated it and pushed him all the way back to his natural. And right now we have Jinro coming down here, and he's trying to deny the fourth, but he has such a small army. He does not have a third, even building or even on the way. So he is literally playing a two-base. You know, all in. He's not going to try to get a third anytime soon. It looks like he just wants to put enough pressure on his opponent to crack him and even and kill his third. Yeah,
one thing I think Jinro needs right now is just Hellion retention. He doesn't have that ability just yet. I mean, the Hellions are so good against Zerglings, and you need them so that the Marines only can fire on the Banelings. That's the big thing. If they only have to worry about Banelings and mutas, it's not so bad. They can spread out. They're really good at doing that. But for now, if they have to deal with the Zerglings, that represents a lot of fire going towards the things that don't really kill you, and that's the big problem. So if you can get that Hellion count, that might be able to do it, but still, it's a very hard APM kind of thing. The micro is really intense, and it's literally all within 1, 2, 3 seconds that the entire battle happens.
Yeah, we do see that he is still using these Hellions, trying to make work, but Morrow has a ton of Mutalisk right now on the map. And he's also taking his fourth base, and if this fourth base gets up with uncontested, then the game's practically over.
Yeah. Well, the supplies are already a 40 supply lead for Morrow, so Morrow's looking really good. Let's see the upgrades. 2-1 coming in, 2-2 actually coming in right now. 2-1 is finished. There we see the stim. The mutas are doing good damage, just making sure that Morrow is playing, or excuse me, Jinro is playing a little bit backwards. He doesn't want him to take complete map control, and we can see Morrow has complete control. There's nothing that he's really worried about, but there is a drop coming in here on the top left-hand corner, and going for that, no, looks like for the main, but he'll probably go for that new base coming up right now.
Yeah, and there he goes. He is unloading, but I mean, all this is really going to do is help keep Zerg's army out of position, but it doesn't even look like Morrow cares about that. He's like, I don't even need that base. Yep. He's moving back down here and trying to make sure he controls the map and intercepts the army. A couple Hellions down here at Morrow's third, doing a little bit of damage, making him pull off losing some mining time, but just very minimal losses there for Morrow. Here comes a ton of Banelings moving in, though. Marines are trying to spread, but it's just so much Zerg coming out here that I don't think that Karen has a shot.
No, and the command center is going to float over here. It's going to die as well. There are just so many mutalisks in this entire army composition. Marines are good, but when it's this many mutalisks, they can actually do a ton of damage, and you don't want to be running away from that. Of course, the micro is good, but, you know, it just gets too much to that point, and now the mutants are just going to run in solo. It looks like the Marines, or excuse me, the Zerglings and the Banelings are going to follow in pursuit, but it's just not enough. They get there, and there's not even anything. Their Banelings are going to splatter across this entire mineral line, and there, every single one of the SCVs goes down. GG comes out from Jinro. Morrow is going to take game number 1. All right, so LZ Gamer, break it down for me. How was it that Morrow was able to look so good in that entire game, really?
Morrow always just felt like he was reading his opponent. He knew exactly what was coming. He was prepared for the first Hellion. He was prepared for the drop. He even saw the drop coming before it actually even came.
Yeah.
Like, he already moved the spine crawler in position, so there was no elevator process that he could even pull off. He had the third macro hatch to pump out a lot of economy, and that's what he did. He focused on economy, and then he started pumping the units.
You know, and you are a Terran and a Zerg player. You professional in both races. The style that Jinro did, we don't really see that often. Is that a good style? I mean, I have to think that, you know, tanks are so good, and, you know, Morrow actually utilized his third advantage just to get more stuff, just more Zerglings, more Banelings, more mutas, but I really feel it's weak to infestors. Is that stuff, is that Marine Hellion ball actually viable in TVZ?
It is. I mean, it could be viable, but it's something that you wouldn't rely on every game. It's something that you could have up your sleeve where you could do this build, but it really is relying on catching your opponent off guard.
I see.
Like a lot of Zergs nowadays actually skip Banelings a lot of times when they go muta. They'll just make more mutas and they'll go Zerglings, and that's the kind of strategy that actually beats. To where they're very low on Banelings. They might have a couple in their army or something, but they're mostly focused on the muta Zergling type of army. And then if they catch him off guard, you know, one bad battle in the early to mid game transition, and Zerg loses his whole army, the game's over, right?
I see. Yeah,
and so I think that might have been what Jinro was trying for, this like big bio ball, but he couldn't get anything to work. And you know, Morrow read it. He was like, okay, he has no tanks. There's like no plan B to Jinro's strategy right there. It was like, that's it. We're just going to keep making Marines. We're going to keep making Hellions. There's no way we can transition out of this because we wasted too much minerals and gas and investments.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, you know what? Morrow played that beautifully
then,
and he was able to shut down every single one of Jinro's aggressions. Again, as you said, the good reads was able to give him that advantage, and not only that, the good situational awareness, map awareness, was so clutch for Morrow. But that's going to put him one up against Jinro. We're actually going to move into the second match between these two players. We're heading over to Belshire Beach. Catch us, more action coming your way after this break.